And now to agriculture update.
New life. Connect. Change. Live.
Heavy rains in Argentina during March and April have delayed the soybean harvest, with only 2.6% of the crop harvested as of April 9 compared to 10.6% last year. Analysts predict a reduced yield due to flooding, but expect improved crop conditions to boost yields. As a result, May soybean futures on the Chicago Board of Trade rose by 4.5% to $382 per ton. Argentina's production is forecast at 48 million tons, while the U.S. is seeing faster planting. In Ukraine, soybean prices are supported by EU demand despite growing competition from Brazil's higher quality soybeans. The situation will be further discussed at the 23rd Black Sea Grain Conference in Kiev on April 24. The Nigerian federal government has officially launched the Green Money Project, aimed at empowering youth in agriculture at the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Funab, Ogun State. The initiative, spearheaded by the Special Assistant to the President on Agriculture, Honorable Abiodun Yunusa, aligns with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's focus on addressing food security and promoting youth involvement in agriculture. The project will equip young Nigerians with modern farming techniques, digital tools, and access to agribusiness loans, helping them become key players in the agricultural sector. It will be implemented across universities, youth development centers, and technical colleges, contributing to the national goal of achieving zero hunger. Zimbabwe's land reform program, initiated in 2000, has sparked continued controversy, particularly through the chaotic land grabs under the fast-track land reform program. Intended to rectify colonial-era injustices, the seizures, including the violent takeover of Guy Watson Smith's farm by war veterans, have instead devastated the country's agricultural sector and economy. While the program aimed to empower black Zimbabwean farmers, many of the land's beneficiaries were ZANU-PF elites, leaving ordinary citizens without benefits. The political manipulation of land ownership has further fueled economic instability, food insecurity, and tarnished agricultural industry. Despite attempts at compensation for dispossessed farmers, the government's failure to adequately address the crisis has left unresolved land disputes and uncertain prospects for Zimbabwe's future. And that brings us to the end of the news in terms of reading the news, but Farid is going to be joining us now. Let's try and get a hold of Farid for more conversation to help us expand, to help us open our understanding with this agriculture update. But it is still funny to me, though, talking about Ukraine soybeans prices and then the situation with that is further going to be discussed at the 23rd Black Sea Grain Conference in Kiev on April 24th, which is supposedly today. It is funny also that amidst the war, Kiev is still operating. I mean, I like the fact that the war is shut down in operation in everything that they are trying to do in the country. The country is still trying to forge ahead. The country is still trying to move ahead. The country is still trying to make progress. And that, for me, I kind of respect. And I do like the fact that they are not letting themselves get held down. They're still living their lives amidst the war. Yes, the war may not be ended anytime soon, but it is beautiful to know that the country is putting all weight to ensuring that it's still very operational, it's still working, things are still smooth. That's talking about the soybeans situation with Argentina that's not enabled them to harvest as much as they were supposed to have harvested. Compared to the 10.6% that they're supposed to harvest, they have not been able to harvest that much. So, in my opinion, I think Kiev is strategically positioned for the market, knowing them to be one of the top when it comes to soybeans harvesting. Farid is here. Hello, Farid.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Farid. It's a beautiful day again to
Yeah,
waking
it's a
up
beautiful
to
day.
agriculture update.
Yeah,
I was
thank you.
trying to
It's a
do. I
beautiful day.
was
And
trying.
how is Lagos? It's been raining in Lagos.
Yes, it's been raining, and when it rains, you know what happens. No, I'm
Well,
not talking about the flood. I'm just talking about power. You know.
But for the farmers on the farm, this is the best time for them. They'll be so happy.
Yeah.
They won't spend
Abiba was
much on
trying to say
irrigating their
something.
farm anymore.
Abiba, what
Okay?
were you trying to say quickly?
I was saying that if it rains in Lagos, there would be no light, there would be traffic, and then there would be no network.
And then the road
Oh,
can likely be flooded. Sad. All right, then
I'm
we
so
still.
sorry about that, but we enjoy the
This is
rain
agri
on the
update. We would
farm.
have probably brought urban planners to come and look into the situation and talk to us about it. Why is it year in year out that is the experience? But while that is happening in Lagos, farmers are happy around Lagos environment because that is the coolest time for them to also get to the farm to see what they can really cultivate. So you've been following the news, right? And you saw that of the one for Argentina with the soybeans not being able to harvest as much as 10.6% as they did last year, but only being able to do like 2.6%. And due to the rain, heavy rains, they've not been able to do the harvest. What do you think about that, Farid?
Yeah, it's a very disturbing story. You know, last week we spoke about, or 2 weeks ago, we spoke about Brazil and some part of the US having issue with their soybean harvest also too and wheat. So with Argentina, which they're also a major player in soybean, bringing this kind of news out to us is disturbing. But other good part is some part of US are planting also too. So we believe they should plant aggressively to augment what's going to happen because I'm seeing like a shooting price of soybean. So it will disrupt supply across the world. And we all know what is happening in Ukraine and Russia. And that's why we in Africa are not heading towards the South America with this kind of news. So what all this is showing us that climate change has gone beyond an environmental issue. It is now an economical issue. So we all need to just have a buffer solution to all this.
That's an interesting one. I hope they find a way around it. But you know what interests me about the story is looking at Ukraine, who also, in terms of soybeans, prices are supported by EU. Not even about the prices, it's about the fact that they are also a major producer of soybeans. Not only that, guess what? The Black Sea Grain Conference is happening in Kiev. And it's supposed to be today, supposedly today. And amidst the war, I am impressed that Kiev they're thriving. They are still making a lot of effort to keep their government, to keep activities running in the country. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we should take a lesson from that in Nigeria because if a country that's at war, then they are still doing stuff like that and still trying to export grains to
Imagine.
other parts of the world. So what
Imagine.
happened to us that our own issue is just, I would say it's just a communal issue. This other farmer issue is something we should work on and we could grow these things here. This soya bean, wheat and everything. They will do perfectly well here. Borno State, I think I told you guys before, Borno State used to be the largest producing state of wheat. And all the wheat our flour mills in Nigeria are using, they are being imported. So imagine the big companies are taking up the wheat from the farmers. Let's say 90% of their wheat they are milling. Imagine what that would do to the economy. So we just need to get to work in Nigeria and Africa, basically. We need to be productive. We are less productive.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And then let's get into quickly the launch of the Green Money Project that empowers the youth in agriculture. Do you think these monies really get their way through to doing the right thing?
Well, I would say this is a personal one because launching this stuff at FUNAB, I went to FUNAB. It's my alumni.
Hey,
Yeah.
greatest Funavite.
It's
Greatest
like that.
Funavite. Greatest of the greatest Funavite.
So what the government did now is what we've been talking about even since when I was in the university. In Nigeria, we have presently we have about three University of Agriculture. The one in Abeokuta we're talking about now. There's one at Umudike, Michael Okpara, and also in Makurdi, Benue State. And the land that FUNAB has can feed the whole West Africa. I'm not even talking about Nigeria. I'm saying West Africa. I know what I'm saying because I schooled in FUNAB and I know what is going there. But like I said, we just need to be productive. So then with this kind of project, it's a welcome one because when I read the news and I called people back in Abeokuta, They said is they are not just giving the loans to the students for them to get seeds, tools, and the rest. And the loans is just for normal upkeep. So most of the money will be going into inputs. And there is an office in the university headed by the VC that will oversee all these things. So it's a good one. So that when these students finish with the program, they don't need to go back home. They can just come into the agri sector and just like a plug and play.
Look, that would be a smart one. If you let me just come in there quickly. I observe a lot of things with a lot of states. You know, a lot of states are more civil in terms of they are civil state talking about government-driven, government-funded, government everything about those states. They are not like, how do we, cosmopolitan like Lagos, you know? Where Lagos is driven by both individuals and government sector, private and government sector. So other states are more driven by the government pulse, which also means,
what we say in local powers are like a civil servant state, something like that.
Yeah, civil servant state. That's my point. So what it also means is that students go there to school, graduate, and move to different parts of Nigeria like Lagos, major cities like Lagos and Abuja and other cities in Nigeria. I think if people start staying back where they studied, provided they are safe, provided they are welcome, provided they integrate well amongst the indigenes of the state, and they're able to invest and they're able to be an addition to the economy, I think it will be a wonderful world in Nigeria.
Yeah, so it's not just be about Lagos. Other places will develop so fast.
And that's the point, really.
You've got the point there.
All right, so let's come to
So I actually love this project. I would love to see it through. I would love to even be part of it. It's a very nice one. So we're looking at the future generation of farmers because farmers are already getting old. The average farmer in Nigeria now is about 60, 65 years.
Wow.
So we need these guys coming from the university and, they should start early enough.
Wow, smart. So ease your thing, you know what to do, and then you can always bring it to us, and we'll be more than happy to have the engagement or the conversation.
Sure.
And now to Zimbabwe. I have been heartbroken about Zimbabwe of late, and that's also because of the idea of trying to pay the white farmers back for the lands, or the whites for the lands. And that's like the white people are claiming reparations from Zimbabwe for their lands. Yes, they love stories around that, the land issue, but let's bring it to the unresolved struggles and economic decline as it affects land. Now, it is brought to our attention that the ZANU-PF elites are the one who are beginning to benefit from all the lands that have been acquired. And so all the black farmers, in a bid to empower black farmers, we find the elites are the ones that are monopolizing it, which also means that ordinary citizens are without benefits. You see, that already is affecting the food security issues. So they really have food insecurity. And that also means that this is causing a serious issue for Zimbabwe. What do you make of Zimbabwe's situation?
This Zimbabwe land issue has been there since the colonial era. And I think you should also know more about Zimbabwe because I know you've lived in South Africa and neighbors, so you should know more about them. And with the new reform, they're trying to give out land to black farmers, and it's these elites that are not taking up the land. In Nigeria, we do call them political farmers, portfolio farmers. It happens here also too when governments bring out schemes for people to benefit from. It's these political farmers that take up all these things. And the sad part is that will take up this land, that will take up these inputs and money without producing anything. That's just it. The real people that need this thing, that would develop the country, that will provide food security, these stuffs don't get to them. So that is also is happening in Zimbabwe now. It's going to be a very tough one. And the black farmers are also not happy with this kind of reform because they claim that we have to take this land from the whites and give it to our own people. We are giving to the elite parts of the people, which is not so good. So it's not as if it's already causing so much destruction in Zimbabwe, and I hope they get the act together before it becomes too late.
Well, it is.
Other countries are looking for. Look at Netherlands, for example, a very small country. They don't have so much of land, but they're doing well.
What country
but
is
you guys have a lot of land.
I didn't pick the country.
But Netherlands.
Oh, Netherlands.
They don't have a lot of land and are doing so well in agriculture. So why would Zimbabwe, country that has so much of land and not fighting on the land, not facing the real thing on to go about production? So I believe they should just try and work fast before things get out of hand.
It's sad. It just feels like some people just choose not to do anything with what they have. That's how it just often look. Because I look at Ukraine, for instance, amidst the war, they're thriving, they're pushing their boundaries. I mean, to say, no, we will not be limited by the war. We will not shut down
By the
our
war.
activities except where the wars are being affected. You know, do you know, Farid, we interviewed a lady. Do you know she's studying in Ukraine as we speak? So Ukraine is still admitting students to come and study in their country, even amidst the
Imagine.
war. You can imagine. So, I mean, it's just sad. I mean, it's like Africa is so endowed, we just choose not to do some things or do nothing about certain things. Because why would the elite now monopolize the farm in Zimbabwe? And then even if they are utilizing it, how much do you think they'll be selling to the public? It will not do justice to the issue of food insecurity, and management is another issue. Do you see? So this is like Africa just needs to start doing the right things, sitting down to analyze certain of their actions. Why is there always this situation of man, no man?
It's everywhere. It's everywhere in Africa. God should just help us, because I have to put God now, because it's sad when you hear these things happening every day. But on a lighter note and on a better note, I'm happy to inform our listeners that we met with the Commissioner of Agriculture in Kaduna State, and he's happy to have an interview with us with Travel Radio, which we'll be fixing very soon, maybe next weekend. So our people should be looking forward to that.
We can't wait.
So like we said before, Travel Radio is there to just amplify the voice of agriculture and see how we could develop and spark up this conversation.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. We need the voices in government and in authorities in Travel Radio to amplify, to talk about those things that are really concerning, that really matter to the people. The issue of food is so global. This is dealing with serious issues here. So it's not limited to a state or a country. It is a global situation, and millions of dollars are being pumped into agriculture. Why? Because we need it to live. At least you will eat before you even fight.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, very sure. Let's add to this, because I was speaking with the commissioner yesterday, and he told me that the present governor of Kaduna State increased the state budget of agriculture from 1 billion to 23 billion.
Wow.
So you could see the increase. So we just hope and we'll try and make them, put it to good use so people could benefit from it to become a very good one.
Interesting, Farid. Well done. A good job there. We'll be looking. Tomorrow is the last day of the week. We'll be looking forward to what news updates are coming up, and we can unpack it on.
And it's so glad that we didn't have to discuss any news about killings on the farm across Africa today. I'm so happy about that.
Well, there was one that happened in Benue State. 11 people died, and they were farmers.
Yeah, I saw it. But I'm happy we didn't get to speak about it on the radio today.
Right.
Let's just talk about the good ones.
When I saw that, I should have been on the agriculture update.
Let's leave it for another time. Let's today we share some good news.
Moment. I see you're running from it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Farid, for your time always.
You're welcome.
Have a beautiful one.
My regards to everyone in the studio.
All aired. Thank you so much.